Okay, you guys, we are back with another video. In this video, guys, we're gonna talk about Tyra Banks filing a mega lawsuit against Netflix. Let's get into it, guys, because as you guys know, it was a couple months ago that Netflix had released a documentary, and clip from it went viral because the details were horrifying, graphic, shocking. And we had Miss J that came out and said, he had a stroke. He was in a coma. Tyra reached out to him, but she never visited since then or anything at all. Now, I must admit, the documentary, it did put Tyra Banks in a very bad light. And while it did put Tyra in a very bad light, Tyra still had people on the internet defending her, and she had quite a few models from America's Next Top Model defending her as well. And did I say the documentary was about America's Next Top Model? No. I believe that documentary did take away from America's Next Top Model. And I believe that Netflix deserves this lawsuit because America's Next Top Model is one of the best shows that we have gotten in history. And I think it is so monumental that it's timeless and will forever be timeless. It gave a lot of these girls platforms. A lot of these girls who said, the show hasn't really done anything for me, but they have moved on to become mega celebrities, and one such individual is Winnie Harlow. I love Winnie, but one thing about me, and two things for certain, the truth is gonna always come first. Winnie made a comment at some point in time, this is not verbatim, just paraphrasing, insinuating that America's Next Top Model never did anything for her. But no one knew Winnie before America's Next Top Model. All the come up that she got was partially to be contributed to America's Next Top Model. And as such, while some of the girls' experiences were grim, horrific, it did open doors for a lot of people. But what Tyra has a problem with, she's saying that she did a 3 hours interview with Netflix. She was made to believe that the show was gonna be about the truth, the documentary, but she's saying that Netflix basically manipulated the footage consistently and only used 16 minutes from her over 3 hours interview, and the 16 minutes that they used, they manipulated it to support false and defamatory narrative. And how many times have we heard this about Netflix? Far too many times. And it's not just Netflix. Quite a few other media houses, they indulge in this practice and these sort of behavior as well. So as such, Tyra is taking legal actions, and I definitely believe she should, because this lawsuit will help us to understand, was Netflix really doctoring a lot of these images to make Tyra appeal less than who she really is? But then again, at the same time, we have to say that equally, two things can be true. While America's Next Top Model was one of the greatest shows that gave life and career to a lot of people, there were people that were harmed in the process of America's Next Top Model. And I believe that's just the honest truth, right? But let's get into this report so as to give you guys some more into what Tyra is talking about and why she feels the need that this was just too much of an injury from Netflix to take without taking legal action to protect her image. Now, they're saying Tyra Banks ain't just serving looks. She just filed a defamation lawsuit against Netflix following her participation in their reality check Inside, America's Next Top Model docuseries. The legal docs filed Saturday and obtained by TMZ allege Netflix only used 16 minutes from her over 3 hours interview with them and manipulated it to support a false and defamatory narrative. The lawsuit accuses producers of constructing a false narrative about Tyra through selective editing, deliberate omission, and surgical manipulation of continuous footage, including that Miss Banks knowingly allowed a contestant to be sexually assaulted on her show, exploited that contestant's trauma for ratings, and then could not even remember it when asked. They're saying, I think this is, they're going to cycle 2 contestants. Shandy Sullivan accused the America's Next Top Model production team of failing to protect her from sexual assault by a guest on the show and then ignoring the assault and molding it into humiliating infidelity storyline. During the doc, Tyra said she remembers Shandy's storyline but explained, "It's a little difficult for me to talk about production because that's not my territory." But in a lawsuit, Tyra argues she had no idea Shandy was participating in the docuseries and that she labeled her experience as sexual assault. The lawsuit slams the implication is devastating and deliberate that Tyra Banks cannot even remember the story of the woman who was assaulted on her show. Banks also say she didn't get access to the completed docuseries until February 15, 2026, just one day before it premiered on Netflix. By that point, she claims trailer promotional materials and press outreach were already underway. Beyond the documentary itself, Tyra is also taking issue with a soundtrack tied to the project. She alleges Netflix used her image on the cover art without authorization, creating the false impression she endorsed the release. "We reached out to Netflix and the company declined to comment." No. That's what's being reported. Now, in my opinion, I think Tyra is not being completely honest here because if you sat down for a 3 hours interview, you're Tyra Banks. You're the queen of America's Next Top Model. When you say America's Next Top Model, you're saying Tyra. How is it that you had no idea that your image or your likeness wouldn't have been used for the cover of the documentary? That part is honestly not making any sense in my opinion, and I think Tyra is not being completely honest with herself either. But as it relates to Netflix doctoring the 3 hours interview that she did, that I can understand because it is a practice of these media houses, something that they do often more than not. So I know that part that she's saying right there could be very true. And two things can be true at the same time. These media houses often doctor interviews to convey a particular emotion and impression. And I believe it worked on Netflix's behalf. But I believe that something else might have happened where Tyra is not pleased with how her image was portrayed and how she was made out to look like the complete villain on America's Next Top Model. However, at the same time, this I'll give to Tyra, and I'll never take it away. She has created one of the most historic shows in history and will forever go down in history as one of the greatest shows of all time, irrespective of the atrocities that many of these models have experienced. America's Top Model was the platform, is the platform, has been the platform for a lot of girls even today. And that's all I have to share on this video with you guys. Let me know what's your take about Tyra taking legal actions about Netflix doctoring her 3 hours interview and make her words appear to be less than what they were actually. Leave your comment below and we're gonna talk some more. Peace.